welcome back to Princess Math Club. Today we'll be learning how to solve quadratic equations using factoring. A quadratic equation is always in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. When you're graphing the equation, you will either get a parabola that will be going upwards or it will be going downwards. If the value of a is positive, the parabola will be going upwards, and if it's negative, it will be going downwards. When you're solving a quadratic equation using factoring, you are looking for values that at the end, when you plug them into the equation, they will prove the equation true. So when you have ax squared plus bx plus c, the x squared part of the equation is what makes it quadratic. Here we have a quadratic equation that is 6n squared minus 18n minus 24 is equal to 0, in which the a is 6, the b value is negative 18, and the c value is negative 24. Now we have various options as to how to solve this using factoring. The first way is we can multiply the a term by the c term and then rewrite the equation and do bottoms up. The second way is a bit simpler in this equation because if we were to divide the entire equation by the a value, which we can do since all a, b, and c values are divisible by the a value, it will simplify our equation so that we can solve. So since all of our values are divisible by the a value, we will go ahead and divide. We will divide both parts of this equation by the a value, which is 6. And remember, you have to do it on the right-hand side as well. When you divide 6n squared minus 18n minus 24 by 6, you are left with n squared because the 6 divides by the 6 and it gets you 1, or you can simply write n squared, minus 18n divided by 6 gives you negative 3n, minus 24 divided by 6 gives you minus 4, is equal to 0 divided by 6, which is 0. And so we just simplified our quadratic equation into n squared minus 3n minus 4 is equal to 0. The next step is to find two pairs of binomials that when you multiply them, you get n squared minus 3n minus 4. We know that we will have both of them as n plus or minus something and then n plus or minus something. Now, as you can see, if you look at the signs, we have a negative 3 and then we have a negative 4. In order to find those two numbers, we have to find them so that when you multiply the two numbers, you get the c value, and when you add them, you get the b value. In this case, the c is negative 4 and the b is negative 3. So let's go ahead and make a chart. What two numbers, when multiplied, give you negative 4 that when you add them, you get negative 3? Let's say that we know that the multiples of negative 4 are 4 and 1, and then we have 2 and 2. So in order to get a negative 3 when you add them, the larger number has to be negative. So in this case, the 4 will have to be negative, and in this case, when you have 2 and 2, one of them has to be a negative. When you multiply negative 4 times 1, it gives you negative 4, and when you add it, you get negative 3. When you multiply negative 2 by 2, it gives you negative 4, and when you add it, you get 0. And so obviously, we're going to have to do negative 4 and positive 1, since negative 4 times positive 1 gives you negative 4, and when you add it, you get negative 3. And so our numbers are n minus 4 and n plus 1. These are the two binomials that when you multiply them, you get n squared minus 3n minus 4. And do not forget that this has to equal 0. The final step is to set each one of these binomials to 0 in order to find those two values. We have n minus 4 is equal to 0 and n plus 1 is equal to 0. In order to solve this, we just use inverse operations. So add 4 to eliminate the 4, and we're left with n is equal to 4, and then in this case we're going to subtract 1, and we get n is equal to negative 1. And so these are our solutions to this quadratic equation when you use factoring. So 4 and negative 1 are the solutions. And so this is it on how to solve a quadratic equation using factoring. As you can see, it's really basic. The first step is to simplify the equation and then factor it to find the two binomials that when you multiply them, you get the equation, and then you set them equal to 0 to find the two or however many numbers are in the solution. Thanks for watching this video, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!